Okay, this is my trusty old hat. It's called You No See Me. What don't you see? Well, you do see me, but the hat says you don't see me. What do I want to talk about? Things that you can't see. Well, I don't want to talk about viruses because everyone knows you can't see viruses. What else can't you see? You can't see who is secretly monitoring you. We know that you are being secretly monitored because of all of the whistleblowers who disclosed that operations such as National Security Agency of the United States spy on you. And we know that the potential is for smartphones to spy on you by the government or corporations or hackers. Same with the smart TVs. If you got a modern TV, we're told that it has the capacity to film if you have it in the living room, it has the capacity to listen in on you and film you. There's also, okay, I need a tin hat. I don't have a tin hat. A capacity for psychic spies to spy on you. It's not really evidence, but the idea it comes from the work of Hal Puthoff and Ingo Swann, who worked for the CIA, and they were doing testing of remote viewing. Major Ed Dames was another one who apparently offers course in how to do this. There was a Tom Cruise movie, Minority Report, that uses psychics to see what you're going to do. With all this kind of spies, why do we worry about it if it's already known that they can do it? It's because it's wrong. Why is it wrong? It's wrong because it's not only surreptitious, which means they're not telling you they're spying on you, but they are using whatever they're getting, your private information, for their purposes. And it's definitely an infringement of your rights. But I'm going to tell you, even though man's laws imply that you have a right to privacy, the world as it is not secure. And even if you figure I could get very high-tech security, it's not secure. You know, over the years, we've seen many data breaches. The government's computers get hacked. The military's computers get hacked. Corporations' computers get hacked. And your computers get hacked. And with the abilities of people with gifted minds to pry into what you have in your head, my friend Clancy always likes to talk about the movie Inception, but I never watched Inception. I just know it has something to do with getting into people's heads. The fact is, you should assume you'll never have absolute secrecy, and therefore, man's laws should not be based upon the idea that you can take steps to have absolute security, because it's a fallacy. It seems dumb that you would have a law that says you can't do this, but it's openly available for people to do these things. Why? Well, because it gives people a false sense of security. If the law says that you can't pry into my affairs, but everyone does, then the law is an ass, and that is an old saying you can't legislate these kind of things. You can pass the legislation, but enforcing it, it seems to be impossible. So why would you do it? It simply makes governments look ridiculous and incompetent and impotent, which leads me to not have any faith in government, and I don't anyways. So why do we bother? Well, I suppose there's still certain government functions that we use. You know, in your city, you use the water supply, the garbage pickup, the snow plowing, the street lights, the traffic lights. You still do use the police services because when someone is going 95 miles an hour in a 35 mile per hour zone, you need someone to pull them over and get them off the road. You need someone to call when a lunatic is running around with a gun or a knife. Do we have too much regulations? Yes. And the politicians have got too much power? Yes. Someone was going to say no. I don't know how to explain it. Some people need to be governed. Some people who need to be governed aren't. And I give you the case of Elon Musk and his massive number of satellite junk, the massive numbers of stories we're told that even more corporations are going to be blasting off massive numbers of space junk into our skies. We regulate how much pollution goes into our air, and in my feeling, we should regulate space junk. People are not happy with radio frequencies being used for, it's these 5G networks. People are very concerned that they're using microwave frequencies for this next generation, and people feel like they're not consulted. Some people say, well, if you send it to a panel of experts, that's pretty good because I'm dumb. I do understand that philosophy, but I also understand the philosophy that panels of experts have been used for years and years, and they are biased because they're quite often bought off. And even if they're not bought off, the people on the panel, no one knows everything. Does it mean that we need to go back to the olden days of horse and buggy? Yes. Oil lamps, well, that means that you've got to kill whales to get the oil to burn the lamps. So it would seem that we're in quite a conundrum. I always wonder, in the days of horse and buggy, how did they plow the snow? Like in the north, you get enormous amounts of snow and you get enormous drifts of snow. And in the olden days, before they had diesel-powered snow plows, how on earth did the horse and buggies get around? I don't know. It boggles my mind. Like, did they get, I don't know, 2 dozen horses to go and just walk down the streets on every street? It would be very tiring for even horses, I would think, to go through very heavy snow. And the old, jingle bells where the horses pulled sleighs, but horses have got small hooves, which are going to break through surface crust of snow if there's any surface crust at all. So they're going to be buried up to their necks in snow, and the sleigh is going to get stuck because I even know people that have got snowmobiles, and the snowmobiles can get stuck. Does anyone know? Do I have to look it up? Probably. I need to talk to somebody who's 150 years old to tell me what they did. Because the people that are, 100 years ago, they had the Model T Ford car. And, there's not too many people around that are 100 years old that still have their wits about them. And, well, what about the history of it all? Well, it's not the same as asking somebody who was there, because history gets tampered with. Does it mean, well, if you watch my video, or, it was Colonel Serene's video the other day, where we talked about becoming 7 again, Colonel Serene said, in essence, the past is malleable, which means it's flexible, which it means it can be changed. And what? Well, you need to go back and see our video. It was Colonel Serene. He wears an army green sweater and an army camouflage hat. And he talks about a new way to look at everything that is not in the present moment now. And he claims that the history of everything can be changed, and time travel is possible, and there's multiple timelines. And I'm not the first one to talk about multiple timelines. There's other people that talk about multiple timelines. What's a timeline? It's the series of events that you experience. And we're told by these social media commentators that the way to change the timeline you're going to experience is it's dependent upon what's known as your vibration. And you adjust your vibration through mostly meditation. You have to raise your vibration if you want to experience something. And if you want to experience hell, you lower your vibration. My name is Harry Weaver, and I'm the narrator of this channel. And I don't know. I always hear people say, subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, you can hit the little bell for notifications. And it doesn't seem to matter whether I say that or not. Everybody knows by now, unless this is your very first YouTube video ever, that you can subscribe and you can share. And it's just that advertisers, tell you can come down to the car lot today and we're having an event. And it does seem to attract people. So I'm going to still put it in there. Please subscribe, share, and ring the bell if you're on. You want notifications and you're on YouTube. And I don't like doing it. It takes me a minute just to tell you something that you already know. But I'm trying to go to 15 minutes and it's time to go. Bye-bye.